"What do you want me to do for you?" Jesus asked the blind man Bartimaeus. "Master, let me see again." And when Bartimaeus' eyesight was restored, what happened? He saw things clearly. He saw what was the most important thing to do in his life. And what was that? To follow Jesus. Following Jesus and becoming his disciple became the most important thing in his life. And what a blessed thing to be a disciple of Jesus, to be a Christian. Do we see that? Do we have this sort of a clarity of vision, the vision of faith? How blessed it is to be a Christian, to be a disciple of Jesus. How blessed it is to have that simplicity and clarity of knowledge and vision, that the greatest thing or the greatest joy in our lives is to know, to love, and to serve Jesus. As simple as that. There was once a sculptor working hard with his hammer and chisel on a large block of marble. A little boy who was watching him saw nothing more than a large and small pieces of stone falling away left and right. He had no idea what was happening. But when the boy returned to the studio a few weeks later, he saw, to his great surprise, a large, powerful lion sitting in the place where the marble had stood. And with great excitement, the boy ran to the sculptor and said, "Sir, tell me, how do you know there was a lion in the marble?" It is said that the art of sculpture is the art of seeing. In one block of marble, the Italian Michelangelo saw a loving Mother Mary carrying her dead son Jesus on her lap. In another block of marble, he saw a self-confident David ready to hurl his stone at the approaching giant Goliath. Of course, we ask ourselves, what do we see? Nothing but a block of marble, but not for the artists. They see what we do not see. And they tried to make it visible for us to see, to make visible what is invisible to us. So visual art is the art of seeing. And that if we want to make visible what has been seen, we need discipline. Discipline. Likewise, sisters and brothers, to attain a spiritual vision. Spiritual vision, it means illumination. It means enlightenment, like Buddha. They were enlightened. We are not speaking of the physical vision, spiritual vision. Then a spiritual discipline is necessary. This discipline removes the blindfolds or the obstacles that prevent us from seeing clearly, from seeing myself clearly and rightly, from seeing people clearly, from seeing God clearly. We cannot see clearly or blur. A lot of obstacles blocking us. Blocked by the many fears and desires of our ego. So now back to the boy's question, how do you know there was a lion in the marble? The answer is, I knew there was a lion in the marble because before I saw it in the marble, I saw it first in my own heart. So the secret is that it was the lion in my heart who recognized the lion in the marble. In other words, if I am not able to see God in myself, how can I see God in others? If I am not able to see goodness in myself, how can I see goodness in others? For this reason, St. Augustine says, the whole purpose of life is to restore to health the eye of the heart. We can call it the vision of faith, the eyes of faith, through which we see God. That is the vision of faith. We are unable to see God in ourselves and in others simply because we are still spiritually blind or because our vision is clouded or blurred. Blessed are the pure in heart, they will see God, says Jesus in Matthew 5:8. And that is precisely the goal of Christian meditation, our habit number 6, and the single-minded quest of our Christian monks. Purity of heart in order to see God. So if you want to see God, if we want to experience the fullness of communion with God and with other people, we all need to purify our hearts. So, just as we do with our bodies, a purification of our body, we need to daily purify our hearts so that we may be able to see clearly, see ourselves, see people, see God more clearly as they truly are, as they are, and not as we are. Projections of ourselves, of our fears and desires, our prejudices and so on, our needs and expectations. So for that purpose, we must learn to silence our mind. That's why at the very beginning of the Mass, we are reminded to be fully present, focused and attentive. That is very difficult. Difficult for me, not always easy to be fully present, living in the here and now, because the mind, the distractions of the mind. So we have to learn to silence our minds, our thoughts and emotions, all kinds of emotions, anger, fear, anxiety, all kinds of thoughts. All these become the obstacles to let our whole being, body, mind, and spirit, to become calm, silent, and still. And only then can we find the inner peace and rest, and then able to see things more clearly. So meditation helps us to achieve that. A farmer paid a visit to a monk who was living in a forest monastery, and he asked, "What do you learn from your life of silence in the monastery? Don't waste your time." The monk was drawing water from a well, and he said to the farmer, "Look, what do you see in the well?" The farmer said, "I see nothing," because the water was shaking. So the monk then waited waited for the water in the well to clear up. The water became calm and still. And he said, look now, what do you see? Now I can see myself. So the monk concluded, you see, when I put down the bucket, the water is dribble. Now the water is still and clear. And that is the experience of silence. In silence, we can see, easily see, and know ourselves. So, our battle, our spiritual battle takes place in our mind, our thoughts. You can make heaven out of your mind. You can also make a hell out of your mind, your thoughts and emotions. So Christian meditation helps to simplify and clarify our vision of life. I mean, it's long life practice, of that one thing that is most important in our lives. So sisters and brothers, at least for me, after so many years as a priest, it has helped me to simplify and clarify my own vision of Christian living. I search for simplicity. It helps me to come up with a vision of Christian living. And by God's grace, I believe that is the fruits of my meditation. I receive this vision of the 8 habits of effective Christian living as a tool for rebuilding the church. It's a process. I calm, still the mind, become passive. Lord, give me your vision. But it is a process. The 8 habits is a special gift of the Spirit for SFA, and through SFA for many other Christian faithful who seek to renew and deepen their Christian living. So also Christian meditation, founded by a Benedictine monk, Father John Min, is a special gift of the Spirit for the whole church. I don't know about other priests and so on, or the bishop. I see it as a special gift of the Spirit for the church, to help us recover the contemplative dimension of our Christian faith. It was introduced to me by a church friend years ago. So this precious gift must be shared and passed on to others. And so at SFA, besides the prayer ministry, we have also created a Christian meditation ministry. Christian meditation is simply a form of silent contemplative prayer. So in our parish, it has its groups practice every Tuesday at 8:15 in the chapel. Come and join them. But then if you ask me how to meditate, so refer to our 8 habits booklet, habit number 6. Refer to that, all the details are there. So sisters and brothers, meditate daily. It will help you to calm and silence your minds and emotions. Then slowly to find the inner peace and rest, and help you give you to see more clearly the clarity of vision